It was a warm Saturday morning, the kind where the sun filters perfectly through the blinds, and you feel no urgency to do anything except sip coffee. But I had been itching all week to take my newest pride and joy for a spin, a midnight blue. 1969 Camaro SS, freshly restored down to the last chrome detail. I had bought it from an estate auction 3 weeks earlier. A dream purchase I'd been saving for since college, and it was now parked in my garage like a piece of automotive art. My wife had gone to the farmer's market, and I was a lone mug. In hand, when I hit the garage door opener and stepped outside to admire the car in daylight, that's when I heard the shriek, a high-pitched, nails-and-knockboard scream that made my hand tighten on the coffee mug. Across the street, storming toward me with the fury of a hurricane in yoga pants, was none other than HOA Karen, the president of our neighborhood's homeowners association and self-declared guardian of all things up to code. She pointed at my car with an accusing finger and yelled, "That's my car. I just bought it last month." I blinked at her, thinking she must be joking, but she was dead serious, her face red with righteous indignation. Before I could even respond, she had her phone out and was dialing 911, loudly announcing to the dispatcher that she was staring at a stolen vehicle parked in a criminal's garage. I tried to reason with her, telling her I had the title, the bill of sale, and even the auction listing to prove it was mine. But she waved me off with, "Save it for the cops. You're going to jail." Within 5 minutes, 2 patrol cars pulled up, lights flashing, neighbors peeking out from behind curtains as if the circus had rolled into town. The officers approached cautiously, and Karen immediately began spinning her tale about how she had just bought the Camaro from a guy downtown and that I must have broken into her home and taken it. I calmly told them to follow me into the garage, where I opened a locked filing cabinet and handed over every piece of paperwork, title in my name, notarized sale agreement, and even a folder of restoration receipts. The officers examined everything, while Karen hovered, her confidence slowly leaking out like air from a balloon. Then came the twist. One of the officers recognized the Camaro from the auction, because his brother had bid on it but lost to me. He confirmed on the spot that Karen's story didn't hold water, and that if she claimed she'd paid someone for it, she'd been scammed. Her face went from crimson to ghostly pale as the officers gently suggested she might want to file a fraud report instead of accusing innocent neighbors of grand theft auto. She sputtered, backpedaled, and muttered something about just trying to protect the neighborhood. But the damage was done. Half the block had gathered to watch, and the sight of her being told to leave my driveway was better than any weekend entertainment. Over the next week, stories spread like wildfire, how HOA Karen had called 911 to accuse me of stealing my own car, only to be publicly humiliated when the truth rolled out in front of flashing lights. She tried to spin the tale as an honest mistake, but no one bought it, especially after another neighbor admitted she'd once claimed his Harley looked exactly like one she used to own. I never saw any fraud case paperwork from her, which told me she probably realized she'd been duped and didn't want to admit it. As for me, I started parking the Camaro in the driveway on sunny weekends. It's not just to enjoy it, but to watch her squirm every time she walked by. Sometimes I'd be polishing the hood when she'd pass, and I'd give her a cheerful wave, which she'd ignore while pretending to be deeply fascinated by a patch of grass on the other side of the street. The irony of it all was that my purchase had been perfectly legal, perfectly documented, perfectly mine, but her need to control, accuse, and dominate the narrative had turned what could have been a 5-minute conversation into a neighborhood spectacle. And deep down, I suspect that what really burned her wasn't losing the fake claim to my car, but the fact that she could no longer intimidate me, because once someone has watched you get roasted in front of 2 squad cars and half the neighborhood, your power trip is over. From that day forward, whenever I saw the glint of sunlight on the Camaro's polished chrome, it wasn't just a reminder of my dream car finally sitting in my garage. It was the memory of the morning HOA Karen learned that not everything in this neighborhood could be controlled by her clipboard, her cell phone, or her lies.